Hi, I want to thank everybody for coming out. My name is Patricia Malloy. I'm with the War Resisters Support Campaign in Toronto. I've been involved for about the last 5, perhaps even 6 years with the campaign, which initially sprang up around one person named Jeremy Hintzman, who you will see in the film. And then as more and more soldiers started rejecting the Iraq War and coming to Toronto, eventually this grassroots campaign to support Iraq War Resisters grew larger. The film you're going to see was filmed in Toronto about 2.5 years ago. It was in May 2008, May 22nd.
The actual day, I'm not sure, 21st, 22nd, something like that.
It was the day that Corey Glass received his deportation notice, and he was the very first Iraq War resistor to get a removal notice, and it just happened to be the same day that we had scheduled this event. So it was filmed in an auditorium at University of Toronto, and what you'll see is a panel of about 12 resistors in conversation with Andy Barry, who, and he'll introduce himself, but he was a Vietnam resistor, and he was just recently retired. He was Metro Morning, CBC, he's a CBC radio host of Metro Morning, and he interviewed the guys and asked very specific questions about why did you come, why did you join. So a lot of the questions that you may have for Dean will be answered in the film, so we'll do a Q&A afterwards. I just want to set up briefly the time frame, and then we can talk about where the campaign is at right now. Some of you may be aware we just lost a private members bill, September 29th. And what we're doing now is making sure the government and public is aware that we're still around, we're still fighting. We don't want any more resistors deported. We've had 2 deported so far and served lengthy prison sentences in the US. So we're still trying to stop the deportations. Dean had a hearing at the Federal Court of Canada, December 14th, asking for a judicial review of his humanitarian compassionate application and his pre-removal risk assessment, which we can fill in details about that later. So for right now, Dean's been living here for a little over a year. We're trying to gather a network of support to help him out here in Peterborough, because he's a long ways from Toronto. But we have resistors scattered all throughout Canada, and what we're trying to do now is get support networks in each place where we have a resistor living, because we're not going to be getting rid of the Harbour government anytime soon, maybe in the spring. So we're afraid now of losing this private members bill that we may have a rash of deportation notices. So we're ready to spring into action, and this is why we're here today. And I want to thank Brittany again for being able to fit this into Peace Week. The timing was perfect as we reach the culmination of Let Them Stay Week across Canada. So, did you want to speak, or
sure?
Were you going to?
Sure, just briefly.
Okay. Thanks.
My name is John Etches. I'm with the Council of Canadians here in Peterborough, and we just had this brochure printed, and a lot of people were at the event last night. But if you were not, we would love it if you would grab one of these brochures. There's a bunch of information about the occupation of Afghanistan and Canada's involvement in Afghanistan, and it also carries an action. There are 2 postcards that you can fill out, one to Prime Minister Harper, who we need to get out, and Michael Ignatieff, who might be the next Prime Minister. So the statement on the postcard reads as follows: Dear Prime Minister Harper, I want a complete withdrawal of Canadian military presence from Afghanistan. I am in favor of Afghanistan becoming a sovereign and self-determining nation without foreign influence or interference. I am asking you to adjust Canadian foreign policy to ensure that these desires are acted upon and allowed for by the Canadian government. So please take one of these. There's no postage required because they're going to the House of Commons. And feel free to grab 2 or 3 or 4 and pass them on to other people that might be interested. Great, thanks very much.